It wouldn't be the proper start to a new season without using one of my favourite phrases of all time, but we are definitely in for a treat here in the TNR Group 5 Championship, as I'm now officially told it is, rather than calling it Group A as I did all last season. But we have a capacity grid this time, so we've got a much better grid, much bigger grid, much better quality grid than we've had before, and it's going to be an absolutely sublime season, I think. We've got a great mix of cars. We've got people in the BMWs, we've got people in the Fords, we've got Porsches, we've got Nissans, and on the front row we've got returnee Sam on random grid pole position, and alongside we have Bingham, who's a new joiner, and he's in the Ford. Mark lines up third. He was one of the quickest chaps in practice earlier in the Ford. Oz is fourth in the BMW. The BMW winning the championship last season, 20 out of 24 races. We've got Graham in fifth in the Porsche. Race is about to get underway, so we'll go through the rest of the grid as we head into the race for the first time. Who's going to get away well off the start? That was Oz making an absolute corker, and so did Mark, but Mark's run into the back and Graham's gone into the back of him as well. So there's cars off everywhere straight away. That wouldn't be the same, would it, in the TNR Championship without having some kind of incident off the line. But there are a lot of cars, and these are tricky cars in the driver's defence, and I wouldn't want to be in their position. But it is Oz who leads the way fantastically ahead of Bingham. Bingham's in a really good position, but Graham's recovered already to third place in the Porsche, and he was looking really quick in practice. I think he actually set the quickest lap in the end. We got Dom fourth place in the BMW, really fantastic looking black and gold livery of the Gull BMW there. Lee is fifth, Coops is sixth. Coops saying he's not really getting the hang of these cars just yet, which surprised me. He really tends to quite enjoy. Oh, that was Andy in the background going off, and there's one of the Fords going off. Is that Mark again? I don't think that was Mark actually, thankfully. But anyway, we need to go back towards the front and see what's going on. Oz leads out in front, a second and a half up the road. Bingham's under pressure from the Porsche of Graham, but Graham's not close enough to pull a move just yet. So the field's starting to spread out a little bit at the front, but as we look further back, Mark's recovering. Remember, he got wedged in the back by the Porsche off the line, and as he tried to avoid slow starting Sam off the line, Sam incidentally has got down 8th position. But Mark is recovering well. That's a lovely looking Ford, isn't it? The Worth livery, black, white and red Capri. These cars, ultra powerful. And there's Andy with his lights on in true Andy style. He's down in 11th, so he's got a way to go. There's Sam, who was the pole sitter. He's settling down nicely, actually. He seems to be controlling the car well. These are not easy cars to drive. As Chrysler tries to make it, Dukes makes a move on Chrysler, so Dukes in the second of the Porsche cars. Out in front, Oz is still leading, but we've got Dom in fourth at the moment, Coops in fifth, and there is a bit of a battle going on because Bingham gets pushed wide by Dom. I didn't quite see exactly what happened there, but there was definitely contact, and that was quite unfortunate because Bingham was having a really good first race in this series. He gets shunted down the grid, down to 7th place. Dom takes third. I don't think it was intentional. I think it was a glancing blow, and round that corner at low speeds, the track becomes all of a sudden very narrow indeed, and off he went into the kitty litter. Coops is fourth. Now Coops saying that he's struggling to get the hang of these cars, but he's just very quietly going about this one and moving up. I say that, commentator's curse, he skits across the dirt there, and that's going to give Lee an opportunity as they head down the straight. We go on board with Lee and we're going to watch the speeds as we head down the straight. We'll be hitting some 170 miles per hour there, as you can see. And this is great to see, isn't it? Really good stuff, and a good battle. Coops runs a little bit wide. Lee's going to have a go, can't quite do it there. These cars are quite even in straight line performance, don't you think? As we go down, as we went down the straight, there wasn't much to choose between the BMW of Coops and the Ford of Lee, and Coops with the lights ablaze. But so many of these cars look spectacular, don't they? The livery on Lee's car as well as Mark's Ford. Lovely looking cars, completely different livery, but yeah, very nice. And Coops' BMW also pretty smart. Dom's falling back into the clutches of these guys, so Coops has made a mistake, goes across the grass. I think Lee's going to go around the outside. He does. Lee scoops up 4th position, and now he goes down on the hunt for Dom, and Dom may lose out that last podium spot if he's not careful. Now up front, Graham is actually closing on the race leader Oz, and we know that Porsche's got good straight line speed. It depends what level of boost these boys are running, but as we go down the straight, we're doing 190 miles per hour. That's considerably quicker than we saw with the Ford that we were on board a minute or two ago. So Graham's having a storming run. This Porsche had 3 victories and 3 second places last year. Graham's looking to add to that tally because it's looking highly likely it's going to be a first or a second. I think all he's got to do here is just play it carefully, play it sensibly until we get towards the start-finish straight, because that's the opportunity where the Porsche can really gun it and make its way past the delay. He's looking like he's going to have a go earlier than that. He's looking very, very speedy at the moment and slightly frustrated up behind the BMW. You can see the BMW still very agile through the corners though, so there's no opportunity there and at this stage. But Graham is one of those patient drivers and is a careful driver. It's the reason he wins so many races and so many championships. Not just his speed, but he's a careful driver. He doesn't make too many glaring errors, and I don't want to jinx him, but he doesn't tend to run into people either. So this time, is he close enough as we head down the start-finish straight? Well, this is the difficulty he's got. The agility of that BMW is such that Oz can get the launch through that last set of corners nicely, and then before they know it, they're back on the brakes again, and the Porsche is no closer than it was the previous lap. Mark has come up from nowhere. We've not been watching Mark's progress recently, but he's got up ahead of Lee. Lee's fallen right back and Coops has fallen right back. He's got ahead of the pair of them. I can only assume that perhaps they had a bit of contact or a bit of off-track excursion between Lee and Coops, and Mark's obviously capitalised on that. He's straight through, and now he's got the opportunity of taking the podium, but Dom just keeps resisting. He just wants to hold on to that podium spot, and he's doing a fine job so far. Great bit of driving actually from Dom. He's one of the newcomers to the TNR series, but showed some really good turn of pace, I thought, in the Group C Championship. And here we are in Group 5, and he's showing his mettle as Mark looks for an opportunity. Can't do it there. Graham up front is still only 3/4 of a second behind the BMW of Oz Phillips. But I have to say, Oz is doing a cracking job this race. They're closer than ever as they go down the straight this time. I'm not sure that Oz is going to hold off the Porsche. He might just. There's less than half a second. I think he's held on just this time. And we're going to have to look a little bit further back because the battle was on. Mark's got through on Dom. We didn't see what happened. Oh, I'm so sorry to miss that. Dom's actually fallen back behind Lee as well, so I can only assume a mistake or a bit of contact from Mark. Hopefully the former, not the latter. I could see Mark being very careful up behind him earlier, so I hope Mark didn't touch him at all, because he did look like he was going for clean moves only. And anyway, great stuff from Mark, up to 3rd place. Lee is recovering to 4th as well. So the Ford's moving towards the front. We've actually got 3 different cars in the top 3 positions, with BMW leading at the moment ahead of Porsche and then Ford. Now I can tell you Oz is actually pulling away slightly in the lead, and Coops and Dom now having a tete-a-tete in the BMW's number 11 blue, white and red car of Coops, chasing down the black and gold car of Dom. And this is probably one of the closer battles on track. At the moment Oz oh no, Dom's lost it. No, it wasn't Dom, it was Coops. Apologies, Coops has lost it. That's given Dom a bit of a breather in 5th place. Oz is storming out in front. Can't do anything. Graham can't do anything to catch apart from put his foot down the straight. I think the tyres are starting to wear off a little bit now, and the Porsche struggling perhaps a little more than the Ford. It'll be interesting to see whether Graham can close in enough in the remaining time we have in this race. We are in the closing 3rd. Just 3 laps remain. And I have to say, this has been a much more enjoyable start to the season than we had in the previous year's Group 5 series. Done it again. We had a smaller grid last year. We had also less quality of driving as well. The quality of driving, apart from off the line here, has been really quite exceptional. These cars are really hard to drive, and there's not been much in the way of contact. We can see Dukes in his Porsche is trying to put Sam under pressure. So Sam's recovered really well actually, back up to 7th place on his return to the series. So in good point. Duke's doing really well in the Porsche as well. So we're going to have some good points here for these guys. Bingham, who got nerfed out the way earlier, he looks like he's going to score points, and Chrysler also doing a really fantastic job in 10th. So at the moment, some of the boys that have struggled in other series are doing an exemplary job. Dubs, on the other hand, who is one of our fantastic drivers in the series, is really struggling in this race, and I haven't been able to see what's been going on with him very much. So I'm not quite sure why he's struggling so much. He may have had contact and been pushed off. Now, just going back towards the front, and Graham is still on the case for this lead. He's caught back up. I reckon there was a mistake a few laps back which made him drop back a little bit. But he's now chasing down Oz for that first victory of the season, and it's always good to get the first one under the belt. But Oz has really come alive lately in a lot of series. He's been putting in the hours. Oh, as we see, Dudes, half spin, he recovers it well. But as I was saying, Oz has been putting in a lot of work into practicing in various series recently, and it really has paid dividends. He's been pulling in wins and podiums at plenty. And bearing in mind last season of these Group 5s at least, he did finish 3rd place, to be fair to him, but quite a long way back on points behind Mark and Ray Dragon. That was Andy, I think, pulling out of the way. Now this is going to be probably the final opportunity for a move. Is it on this time? I think Graham's going to have a go. He's not. He backs off a bit. That may have been the last opportunity for the win to change hands, for the lead to change hands in this race. I don't see another opportunity without Oz making a mistake, which he's driven so well this race. I don't want to jinx him, but I think it's quite unlikely. Through this section, it's very hard. It's amazing how close Graham's actually even getting in that Porsche. I wouldn't have expected it to get very close because it is such a handling section, and he has dropped a little bit behind the BMW, but he's still quite close. What he needs is to be right on the back bumper coming out the final chicane, and he'll pip him at the line. But that's going to be not impossible as he throws away the last opportunity. I think he's going to be too far back now. You can see how hard he's pushing. The guys were saying about Bingham's in the pits, unfortunately, but the guys were saying about tyre wear. But I can confirm, as we come out the final corner and down the straight, oh, is it going to be though? Is there going to be an opportunity? Because they're so damn close on track. I don't think it's going to be. I think Oz Phillips is going to take the first race victory of the season. He just takes it ahead of Graham. What an excellent finish to the first race, and an excellent run out the final turn for Graham. He gave it everything he could, but ultimately Oz Phillips takes the win. That's a brilliant job. Mark's 3rd place, recovers beautifully in the Ford ahead of Lee, so Ford's 3rd and 4th, and Lee and Mark forever joined in whatever they're doing, so 3rd and 4th. Dom gets a really good result for BMW in 5th and Coops in 6th. Sam is bouncing over the curbs, and I think he's going to bring home an exemplary 7th place, and we've got to commend Dukes as well for 8th place and 4th. Not aware that either of these boys have had much practice. Excellent jobs from both of those. Chrysler's going to finish 9th, I think. We've got a couple more corners to go, but it is going to be points for Chrysler. You know, Chrysler's taken a while to adapt to some of the driving styles on Project Cars 2, and has only recently got a wheel, but it's paying off here. A great result, and we'll have a look at lap times in a minute, but really good stuff from Chrysler. And Dubs rounds out the points. We'll see if he can improve later on. Bingham and Andy outside the points. So fastest lap goes by far to Graham with a 1:13.5, but good lap times all the way really from 1st to 8th. And Dubs actually had a very good lap time, so I think he's struggling for consistency, but race 2 will be coming up in a few minutes time.